Hello and welcome to one of my transcription explanation videos. I am the scribe of Sirkles, and if you've seen one of these videos before or are familiar with my script, you can go ahead and skip forward and get to the design transcription itself, where I read the artwork letter by letter using this script. But if you're not familiar with the script or just want to hear me ramble for a bit, let's go ahead and get into how to use the Sirkles key. So, this is set up in a grid. You'll notice we have rows and we have columns. And these rows are determined by the letter stems. So there are 4 different letter stems. There is a deep divot up in the top row, and that deep divot is more than 50% of a circle, like a horseshoe or an omega. So that's this one here. And then there's a shallow divot stem in the 3rd row down here, and that shallow divot is like a bite taken out of a cookie, 50% or less of a circle. Then we have our completed circle stems in the 2nd row and in the bottom row. And this 2nd row stem is a completed circle, but it's inside the word circle. Whereas the bottom row, it's on the line of the word circle. And that can be anywhere on the line. It doesn't have to be centered like shown, or that inside the word circle can be kind of more towards the middle, but just make sure you can tell where its position is, because the reading order for this script is bottom counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. So, start at the bottom, go counterclockwise, like 6 o'clock going around the clock. So, that is the reading order and the letter stems. Now that is how you get in the rows. Now to get the columns, we have dot modifiers and we have line modifiers. And that fine print up here matters. So these dots, they count at whatever letter they're closest to, whereas the lines, they count where they end on a letter stem. So where they connect and stop on the letter stem, which is again that black bit of our letters, so things are color-coded. This blue one is the word circle, the black line is the letter stem. So if a line were to end on that letter stem, it would count for a line modifier, but if it goes through the letter stem, it doesn't count. So this line going through the letter stem doesn't count on the letter stem, but it does count on the vowel. So let's go down and talk about vowels now that we've talked about the dot modifiers, line modifiers, and letter stems. Vowels are these little guys, and they look similar to dot modifiers. The biggest difference being dot modifiers are filled in, or vowels, they're open in the middle. So an A is outside the word circle, and it is the only thing entirely outside the word circle. Everything else is somewhat touching or connected or inside the word circle. And our centered vowels, the I's, E's, and U's, are centered either on the line of the word circle, or they are inside the word circle, but they're centered inside the consonant stem. So that's what this shows. This shows what a B stem would be with a vowel on it, an O, an E, or an A. Or this would be a J stem with the O, the E, and the A, so on and so forth. And then the difference between the I's and the U's are these lines. So this green line going towards the center of the word circle is what makes an I an I. A U has a line going away from the center of the word circle. So if this is the word circle, the I goes towards it, the U goes away from it, and similarly here, I, U. And that's relative to the word circle. So, not the sentence circle or anything else. It's relative to the word circle. So, sentence circle. Sometimes you can put a sentence circle around your word circle if you so choose, especially if you have punctuation, because that is where the punctuation marks go. They're all noted here. And a sentence circle, it can have these decorative divots to kind of fill an empty space between words, so long as you can tell that, you have a sentence circle with a word circle. You could sneak in a secret word in the sentence circle if you wanted, but that is generally, not something you would expect people to read. And then there's this start marker, which is optional. If you have the reading order in the typical bottom counterclockwise fashion on a design that will be oriented bottom with a top and a bottom, you don't need your start marker. You can put that there if it's something that'll spin, like a sticker, or if it's something that will, have multiple kind of start places. If you're writing a poem or something, you can use the start marker as a bit of a roadmap. I tend to not use a start marker when possible because most of my designs are used as tattoos, which there's a person attached to a tattoo and they'll tell you where to start and which direction is up or down. So yeah, the last bit is this letter stacking junk. and this is complicated. This makes a lot more sense in practice, and if I use letter stacking in the design, I'll go more into this in the specific design. Otherwise, the quick and dirty is letters in the same row can be stacked. That means they have the same letter stem. You read thin to thick, and same thickness means same letter. So you don't need to double up the modifiers. If you have like a double L, you don't need 6 dots, because an L has 3 dots. It's just you have 2 of the same completed circle, like a double circle. That's an L. If you were to write an L and a J, then you need one line with the 3 dots by it to be thinner, and then the J to be thicker, because you read thin to thick. Vowels are read after consonants, so this would be a B before the O, E, or A. This would be a J read before the vowel, so on and so forth. And a slash through a vowel, so like not a line modifier, not connecting to anything else, but just like a little hash line through our vowel, moves it up 1 letter in the stack. So that is letter stacking, and letter stacking is tricky. If you'd like to learn more about letter stacking, you can read the full guide document here, or you can see the video tutorial here, and I go more in depth as far as the different ways different things can look in that video tutorial. And if you're more interested about the history and development of the script, these are the presentation slides me and Lauren give at panels at conventions and stuff, where we talk about the history and development of the script, as well as its use on Doctor Who. Most people will recognize this script from Doctor Who, but this is actually something from a couple of nerds in high school that Doctor Who has used. So big difference there. This is not something we took from the show. This is something the show got from us. So it's free for anybody to use, even commercially, so the show didn't step on our toes or anything. It's just really cool to say that, yeah, our silly little circle language is what the BBC has used to represent circular Gallifreyan, the language of the Time Lords on Doctor Who. But that being said, it's not official or canon. It is just, something some nerds made that the show has used, which is a big deal. But I mean, the show's also used like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are cool. They're not a thing from Doctor Who. They're a thing that Doctor Who has used. So yeah, this Sirkles script is what the Doctor Who show has used as Gallifreyan. So yeah, that's the legalese, the technical history and stuff. There's screenshots and stuff in the presentation. If you're interested, just check that out. And then I have, of course, some useful contact and links. That's my email. Feel free to email me with questions. Then shermansplanet.com is Lauren's main site, where there's more information about what they've been doing, as well as information on Gallifreyan there. And then, of course, my Etsy, where I have all of the different options as far as custom stuff I can make for you with the Sirkles. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the design transcription for the specific design of this video. See ya in a bit. This design was quite a fun project because I got to incorporate the symbolism for Green Lantern, this Green Lantern symbol, in with the design because it involved circles. It made it easier for me to kind of build in the sentence within the design itself, while also translating to "In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light." And that is what this says. And there's a lot of funky paragraph structure happening here. So that start marker, this little arc with a circle, is shown 3 times in this design, and there are 3 kind of starts, 3 separate starting places, and these are also numbered. We have 1, which has 1 line in between the outer digit ring and the decimal point, the thick decimal point in the middle. So that'd be a 1. And then our second sentence here has the 2, and that would go around like this. And then our third is here, and there's 1, 2, 3 lines. So 3 is here, and then it spirals inwards, typical reading order. So, reading our first sentence, our sentence 1, we have a word circle here, and the word circles are oriented kind of linearly, so we're going to read this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And let's go ahead and zoom in on that. So here we have our first letter. It is a little guy, like all of these little guys. So it's a vowel, and it has a line going inwards, making it an I. Then we have a full circle. So we're in the second row, I know my rows, with 1 line on it, so it'd be in the last column. So I, and then an N. And then we have our B, a deep divot, omega shape, first letter in the first row. Then we have 1, 2, 3 dots on the R, a shallow divot. Again, the difference between a deep divot and a shallow divot is this is 50% or less of a circle, while this is more than 50% of a circle. So this is a shallow divot, deep divot, shallow divot, and this deep divot has no dots, so that would be a B. And this R dot is actually a smidge closer to the R than it is to the B, so we can tell that these 3 dots go here. and then another I, line going inwards, and then a GH, a circle on the line of the word circle with one dot. Now it was purely my choice to use a GH letter instead of a G and an H letter, just to save space, and I'm gonna scoochy this, no I'm not. A GH instead of a G and an H, just purely an artistic choice, because I wanted to, save some space and not make it look super complicated, because brightest is already a pretty long word and a pretty small space here. And then we have a T, shallow divot, no modifiers, an E on the line of where the word circle would be. And then we have a letter stack. So these are both shallow divot stems. And there's a thin line and a thick line. And in the letter stacking reading rules, you read thin to thick. So this thin line is read first and this thick line is read second. And this thin line is the letter S because it has 1, 2, 3 lines on it, where this thick one is the letter T because it has nothing on it. So B-R-I-G-H-T-E-S-T, brightest. And then we have the word day, and this little transition between the dark and the light is just artistic, and it does make things like reading the A kind of tricky. It looks like a dot, but that extra little ring there is how I indicate the actual line, as opposed to an open dot. So this is a D, 1, 2, 3 dots on the D, and then we have an A outside the word circle, and then we have 2 dots on our Y. So D-A-Y, and then this is a comma, a filled in circle on the line of the sentence circle, and I did literally use the comma to connect these two sentences. So we have a sentence circle here and a sentence circle here. Here's another I with a line going inwards, and this N has the line on the I connecting up to it, but because it ends on it, it doesn't need its own line. So even though this N has a line specifically for the N and a line for an I, this I line passes through where this I line ends on it, so it still counts on the end. So that's why I have this N looking different from that N, and that's because I wanted these lines to line up. Okay, now we have a B, deep divot, no modifiers, 3 dots on the L, another A outside the word circle, just like that A, and this is another letter stack, and this thin line and thick line, we read thin to thick, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the thin line, so C, and then 2 dots on the thick line, so that would be a K, and then the E centered. So even though the E is the same thickness as the thin line, consonants are read before vowels. So you read thin to thick consonants before vowels, so that would be the C, K, E. And then we have an S, 1, 2, 3 lines, and a T, so an ST done very, very similar to that ST. So in blackest, this N has 1 line on it right there, I line going inwards, another GH, 1 dot, and then a shallow divot T. And this comma, again, is on the line of the sentence circle, just like that comma. And then we have our next sentence, which is conveniently right where you would naturally look. I don't really think I need the start marker here, but I wanted to put it there just to show that we have this chunk, and then we have this chunk going around the circle, and then we have the internal chunk. So we have another N, 1 line, O, E right on the line of the word circle, a V is a shallow divot with with 1 line modifier, I line going inwards, and then 3 dots on the L, so no evil, and then we have this shallow divot with 1 and 2 dots, so that's an SH. This is a tricky little A, and it's outside the word circle, and then we have a double line for a double letter, and there's 3 dots on that double letter, so that's a double L, so shall. And then we have this, which is just decorative. This doesn't translate to anything. There are no letter stems or visible words or anything on this little chunk here. It's just a decorative sentence chunk to fill in the space before we get to this next word, which is escape. We have an E, just like that E. And then 1, 2, 3 lines in the S, and the C has a lot of lines passing through it, but there are 4 dots that actually go with it here. So 4 dots is a C, A outside the word circle, and then the P has 2 lines with the E in the middle of it. So escape, 3 lines on the M, Y with 2 dots, and then we have 1, 2, 3 lines on the S, I line going inwards, and then we have a GH, a circle on the line of the word circle with 1 dot, and then a T, shallow divot with nothing. And this, even though it looks like it could be an A, it is on the line of the sentence circle, making it a period. So this is an A because it's inside of the sentence circle, but outside the word circle. This is a period because it's on the line of the sentence circle. So that would be cite, period. And then we have our third chunk here. And this is split up linearly, just in a circle. So the spaces between the words are literally spaces in the word circle itself. So we have our word circle here, and inside our word circle we have 3 dots making that an L, E, and then a T. So let,
T, H with 2 lines, O, S with 3 lines, E. So let those, a WH with 1 dot, O, who, WORSHIP, so 2 lines on the P, 2 lines on the H, I line going inwards, 3 lines on the S, 3 dots on the R. So worship, E, right on the line of the word circle like that. A V has that 1 line, which is connecting up to the I, which has a line going inwards, and then 3 dots on the L. So these are both the word evil. And even though they look super different. And then we have an apostrophe, a double line. There's in fact another apostrophe right there. But this apostrophe connects the evil and the S, 1, 2, 3 lines, so evils. 1, 2, 3 lines on the M, I line going inwards. This is another letter stack. The thin one is in the middle, that's the G, and then the thick one has the H with 2 lines and then a T. So let those who worship evil's might, and then our inner circle, because you read outer to inner, B-E-W, A outside the word circle, R with 3 dots, E, so beware, M-Y, so beware my, and then we have power, P-O-W-E-R, continuing around, G-R-E-E-N, green, L-A-N-T-E-R with 3 dots, N, there's another apostrophe, and then an S with 3 lines, green lanterns, and then right in the middle is the word light, 1, 2, 3 dots on the L, I line going inwards, a GH with 1 dot, and a T. So yeah, that is how this design says the whole mantra in brightest day and blackest night. No evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green lanterns light. And I hope you like your design. Thank you.